Hello and welcome to Jimmerit Hedigo. What does 5 votes on a station poll get you on this channel? Well, on world building essentials and exercises, it's going to get you exactly the video that you wanted. My name is Lewis Nichols, and today we are going to talk about the way I plot out a campaign arc. It's going to revolve around a setting that I've developed over a few videos. It's all on this playlist. I'm going to let you listen to those, if you like, while I do a little reading the DMG gag. You guys, watch your shows. Watch this. I got stuff to do. Hmm, interesting. Oh, yeah, okay. Useful. Oh, you're done. You're watching me. You don't even care about those other videos. All right. Well, we'll put this away and we're going to get to it. As you regulars know, I run what most people call open world. I've started kind of liking to call it event based. Basically, I provide opportunities in a setting, and the group can respond to whatever they like. If they don't respond to particular things, a couple different things can happen. Other fighting teams, adventuring teams, they might take care of the problem. Maybe it was a short term problem and there's no justice, but it takes care of itself. The monster rampages and then recedes back into the forest. The other possibility is that the problem keeps getting worse. This is going to need real heroes, or slowly but surely it will become an inevitable disaster. Uh, or at least until higher level people have to get involved. Now, all these things, they affect the players. It's hard to grow prestige if you don't take on high prestige jobs, and you don't automatically get fame and fortune just because you get stronger as an adventurer. But I digress. If the party finds something that I didn't expect them to engage with, but they choose to, I'm going to do my best to embrace that. I can change directions a little bit, it's no big deal. A lot of the times I let the party kind of determine what's going to be the big thing in the campaign, and it just grows over time. Now, usually this isn't a problem. I have found that while players don't like to be forced certain ways, they love breadcrumbs. They like to know what they are supposed to be doing. Uh, it's a lot of discussion about railroading. A little railroading is okay if you're not pushy. They need a track, they need a direction. Obviously, this depends heavily upon the group you're dealing with. But again, I digress. We had put together a sliver of an adventuring team from these earlier videos that I know you watched. I gave you a chance. We had a Myogu, which is kind of a custom dragonkin, more related to wyverns and dragons. Our Myogu's a rogue. We have a human cleric. We have a Goliath barbarian. Some cliches are just too priceless. And we have an elven sorcerer. We also have a dwarven fighter who is a Death's Head dwarf. It's an ethnic group from the island. So we've built a little team that is in tune with their local area, and that makes things easier for you. When they're working on their backstory, you need to work on it too and tie them to geographic points and other people in the game. How do they fit in to your world? It's going to make your life easier. Trust me. We also established this area here on the map was pretty well taken over by gnolls, but we were very careful to paint them as a somewhat tribal or even unorganized monstrous threat. They only occasionally threatened civilization, and even then it was pretty minor. Now, as a DM, planning this whole thing, I know from very early on that I want gnolls to be a major option for the party. I am prepared to tie several members of the group to the west. There are some very uncomplicated options here. Our Death's Head dwarf is obvious. His parents left the tyranny of their homeland a decade or so before our PC was born. The Myogu and the Goliath are also easy. Both have ancestry from regions now controlled or threatened by the Gnolls. For the Elven Sorcerer, I'm going to plant rumors of a source for enhanced arcane focuses that are aligned specifically for sorcerers. There may be one in a ruined area, and guess what? It's in Gnoll territory. Over the first few sessions, I'm going to mention the Gnoll problems several times. It's going to be little tidbits mixed with other news. For example, the Lord of Cregia's grandfather has died. There is a debate among the village council if an envoy should be sent. Sky Serpent won the Regency, a yearly wyvern race in the south. Gnolls were repulsed by the Vaxen Merrymakers when they tried to raid a village named Narn. The trade cog, Daddy's Downfall, was sunk by a giant octopus. You get the idea. Lots of stuff going on. One of those things is the Gnolls. Now the rest of these might spur interest from the group. That's fine. A principle in my DMing is the ultimate in player freedom. There's a lot of ways for them to be heroic, but there's also other heroes to take up the slack. And another unscripted thought. Any of these can be tied back to our bigger story if we want them to be. That giant octopus could be fiendish in nature, a servant of Yeenoghu. The death of Cregia's king? It is very possible that he was assassinated as some demonic plot. We could even say that the Sky Serpent won that regency because his trainers were part of the faction controlled by Yeenoghu in the major cities of the south. Just part of the political game that you can get into later. At second level, I'm going to push the players west on an assignment. Refusing could cost them some prestige and favor, but again, players usually like to be led around a little bit. It's a delicate balance. The mission is to make contact with a new settlement of Death's Head dwarves. These guys have left the mountain and are building a town on the coast. The diplomat of the mission is our dwarf's father, so that's another reason for them to be willing to accept the directive. When they get there, they find about 50 dwarves in the settlement. The group will find out that these guys have been exiled over an attempt to unionize and demand better housing. As a DM, I'm the one with goals to accomplish on this mission. First, I can establish that our dwarf is adopted. I want to play around with him having some inherited claims of power among the Death's Head dwarves. I'm not going to get into that here because it's not relevant, but it's part of a slow burn on one character's arc. I am going to try to develop things that they have worked into their backstory as well as things that I have planned for them. I'm going to also double down on family themes and have our Goliath meet some cousins. Let's say that the dwarves are working closely with a barbarian village. These are a lot of non-combat interactions, and we're definitely going to want to get into a fight here. It's going to be a random encounter, and it's not going to be random at all. It can be when the group is hunting for the dwarves initially, or they could be visiting the barbarian camp. It's definitely going to be Gnolls, just to establish them in a dice versus dice, tangible sort of way. I'm going to leave it to the party to pursue other leads for a while, but at 4th level, the Gnolls are back. Due to the party's experience and successes, they are going to get hired to deal with a pack of raiders. Scouts from the Barbs or the Dwarves have seen the Dogfaces building ocean-ready war canoes that could threaten the islands where the party is from. They might not have even said anything, but local raiding has been getting worse. The Barbarians and Dwarves need help. I'm going to make this a multi-session series of encounters with plans to end it in a high-stakes fight. It's going to be good treasure and a significant reveal. I'm going to hit him with a Gnoll captain who has some major demonic influences. Have you noticed that Gnolls are fiends now? We were going that way before the new monster manual dropped. Thanks, Wizard, for stealing my thunder. During our series of encounters, I'm going to let the party find a holy symbol of Yeenoghu and remove any doubt. If the sorcerer hasn't found out about that focus yet, we're going to make sure it happens during this period. This is where player agency has a huge impact on event-driven campaigns. Remember, this isn't the only thing going on for the group. Did you hear about that other demon in previous episodes? The one that lives on the player's home island? We were going to set that up for a 5th level fight. He's going to be perking up about now. Meanwhile, there's all the other threads that the party might be interested in. You've probably been putting together about 20 sessions now to get the party where they are. Are you playing with bastions? If so, that's one more complication to player decision making. 5th level is going to be big for the party. If they pursue anti-null operations, they will have an impact. The influence of Yeenogoogu is going to come out early, and defenses will be raided. The Nulls will suffer losses at the hands of the party. If the party gets caught up in something else, guilt them a bit with news of the Null atrocities. The bad guys are going to be able to raise an army and make major raids on civilized villages. Maybe they'll even sack Kregia. Does that get the party involved? Probably. 7th level decision making. If the party is involved at this point, the Null leadership is going to have to deal with them. There will be assassination attempts, and probably some pretty significant ones, but don't overdo it. Remember, as a DM, you're not actually trying to kill the whole party. Hit them hard. Go to an effort to force them into a revivify or two, but don't maximize your attempts with body stealing or body destruction. Always give the party an out. During this time, you might even have Yeenogoogu make an appearance. I'd be aiming for a final battle around 10th to 13th level, so it's pretty reasonable that you formalize the rivalry here. Imagine the Demon Lord himself appearing in the middle of the village. He's killed Dory the Donut Maker and Vern the Tailor. As the party engages, they find out too late. They are outmatched. When the first party member falls, Yeenogoogu grabs up the body, worthless and weak, hurling them, forcing more death saves. Before things get completely out of hand, the council evokes an ex machina MacGuffin that you've planted the seeds for before, and banishes the demon, later confiding, we can't do that again, but let's hope it takes a while for them to figure that out. If the party has not been pursuing the Nulls, they really have no reason to go after them. You need to decide if it's time to give up on this storyline. There are other heroes to take on the threat if your group is just not interested. It's okay. Just start developing threads that they care about more. 9th level decision making. Let's assume that the players do care. Yenabwapta has been forced off plane. Now what? Perhaps they attempt to lead a larger force. I wouldn't give it too long before Demon Daddy Dogface is back, but a party of this level can do a lot of damage to foot soldiers and civilian Nulls. I might set something up where the party can find a cracking in the ranks of Nulls. If they play nice with certain villages, they get info on where high priests and generals are hiding. Take them out, and you can push Yeenipoo's return back by decades or centuries. I wouldn't make stopping the resummoning easy. In fact, I might have Yen's priesthood go entirely silent for a while. There are a lot of player choices here for how to handle the Null lands. Are they going to slaughter them? Force them to leave the island? Do they back off while the trail gets cold? At teleport level, there is suddenly even more options in the campaign. Maybe the party can even embark on some kind of quest and conduct a ceremony to block off the demon's ability to return, no matter what the high priests do. 1st to 9th level can easily be a 2 or 3 year journey. It's impossible to plan out everything from the beginning, so my biggest advice is to take an hour or two between each session and reevaluate your plot lines. If the campaign is healthy, stretch out the storylines. If you know the game is in jeopardy, find a way to wrap things up. At this point, I'm guessing that the party is going to end the Null threat before Yumi Nakahaha is coming back to the plane. However, I'm also planning on his revenge. It might be a while, but he's going to break through eventually, and his first stop is going to be the party. There might be some warning, or it might just be after dinner, foreshadowed by a knock on the door. Who is it? Yini. Yini who? Yeenogoogu, bitches. Let's settle this now. As fireballs start to detonate inside the room. Well, that's it. That's all I got for you. I hope this helps. I know it's hard to figure out the line between railroading and player agency. A lot of it's just practice. Some of it's reading the room, because definitions vary from table to table. Give them options, but weigh them towards things that you want to explore. Once they have engaged, whether it's what you're hoping for or not, develop those arcs to their fullest. Focus on things that are short range, little digestible pieces that are going to last a session or two. Keep the far future in mind, but don't obsess over it too much. Who knows? Maybe if the party goes a different direction, you can turn them back around someday. What if the party gets engaged with fighting a group of bandits and pirates around Cregia? Those bad guys can definitely have ties to the Knolls. If it's there, take it. If not, move on. Thank you all for stopping by. I truly appreciate this time that we spend together. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. You know the stuff. Each and every one of you matters to this world, and I'm glad you're a part of it. Cheers.